welcome back to Slaves Only. After escaping Rebirth, Tuck and Alec found themselves at a safe house where they healed their wounds and gathered supplies for the journey ahead. Shortly after leaving the safe house, I ran into a very strong wandering skeleton. The plan here was to follow him for safety, but I quickly got bored of that and ran off. Now here I wasn't sure if this was water or acid, so I decided to use Alec as a guinea pig and have him test if it would be safe before letting Tuck cross. I discovered a village on the map, and for the life of me, I couldn't remember what it was. After arriving to the village, I remembered it was the Flotsam Ninjas. I took a look around the village and didn't notice anything worth sticking around for, so we headed back out on our journey. Not long after leaving the Flotsam Ninjas, we discover our destination, World's End. After arriving to World's End, I noticed something strange about the gates. At first I thought they were just shut from the town still being loaded in and hadn't been opened yet. But I was able to walk through them, so that quickly debunked that theory. I tried Control Shift F11 and the Fix Stuff button, but neither one of those fixed the problem. My last attempt at fixing the gates was to save and reload. That seemed to have fixed the problem. With that being done, I head inside the bar just to realize I have no point in being here, as I have nothing to sell, and even if I did have money, I couldn't recruit anyone. So I stepped outside to take a look at our stats. They are looking kinda bad, and with no plan, we head out of town and try to find some way to make some cats. Shortly after making our way off the mountain, I got distracted by some lights and went to go check them out. Turns out it was a pretty decent sized group of scrawny cannibals. In the process of trying to knock them out, I got noticed and had to make a run for it, because I really don't feel like getting eaten at the moment. Immediately after losing aggro from the scrawny cannibals, I attempt to knock two of them out so that they could be used as practice dummies for Tuck and Alec. After knocking out our practice dummies, I ordered Tuck and Alec to each pick up one of them. Tuck has no problem, and I am made an idiot because I completely forgot Alec is missing an arm. I'm sure that won't happen ever again. After barely winning the fight with our practice dummy, we head to a nearby village to see if we can try and make any cats. After arriving to the village, I noticed the buildings have the same problem as the gates at World End had. A quick save and load fixed the problem. I just hope this doesn't happen at every place we go to. I noticed some fighting outside of town and decided to go check it out to see if there's any cats to be made. We were able to loot some of the cannibals' weapons, and while we were overweight from the swords, I thought it would be a good idea to have Tuck and Alec get some strength training in. Just to be made a fool once again by forgetting the fact that Alec still only has one arm. After looting and selling the cannibals' swords a few times, we were able to buy some supplies, and we had a little over 4K left over. I noticed some good boys playing with cannibal arms. With the leftover cats, we head back to World's End, as I decided it would probably be a good idea to finally get Alec a new arm so I don't keep making myself look like some kind of fool. After buying Alec his new arm, we now head back to the fishing village to get some strength training in, as we won't be settling down anywhere anytime soon, and I would like to be able to carry more than 5 pounds of loot and gear with us. While we were mining some iron to get ourselves overweight for the strength training, we weren't attacked once, but 2 times. The second time we definitely would have gone down if it wasn't for this little goat who helped us. Eventually we were able to mine enough iron to start the strength grind. During strength training, the village was raided by some starving bandits. Now you might be thinking, yeah, so what? Just go to the bar and have the guards deal with them. You see, I was thinking that same thing. The only problem with that is the guards were little to no help. And on the way to the bar, Tuck ends up going down, leaving Alec to try and fight off the bandits alone. Which, to be fair, he did much better than what I was expecting of him. Tuck gets up for a little bit, just to be knocked unconscious shortly after. Luckily, Alec was able to finish off the bandit leader by himself. With that mess dealt with, I have Alec carry Tuck over to the bed and have him heal their wounds. Just to realize, I don't have any robotics for his new arm yet. I promise, I'm not an idiot. I swear. While Tuck heals from the fight with the bandits, I have Alec sell out the iron they were using for strength training to see if we could afford some repair kits. Before spending all of our cats, I wanted to see if Tuck could make up for his lack of help in the fight by stealing a repair kit for Alec. And to my surprise, he was able to knock the shopkeeper out and steal the repair kit with no trouble at all. I feel like that makes up for his performance during the fight earlier. With everything taken care of, it was time we left the fishing village and set our sights to new horizons. I wasn't sure where we were gonna go, but I felt like we had outgrew the fishing village. While we were wandering, I noticed some stubborn bandits that would make for an easy target. Then out of nowhere, Kenshi just spawns in a bunch of bone dogs. Not wanting to be eaten alive, I decided it would be best to just leave. We ran past the United Cities and Holy Nation having a dispute on whose form of slavery was best. I must have done something to make the Kenshi gods mad today, because the game asked me, you know what you need right now? You need some pissed off zealots chasing you. This would lead to a series of events that would take years off of my life. It would start off by being beaten, unconscious, by said zealots. Wait half an hour to get up again, just to be knocked out right away, to have to wait another half hour, just to finally think I'm safe and can start healing my guys, to have some skimmers wander by and attack us. But Kenshi did decide to give me a break in the form of not having the skimmers eat us alive, so that's good at least. However, we aren't done just yet, because a group of stubborn bandits then wandered by and took all of our food. Eventually we were able to heal up enough to run at full speed, and that's exactly what we did. We ran as fast as we could to the nearest town. In town I had Tuck and Alec fully heal their wounds from the mess that was the last few hours. Tuck was the first to finish healing, so while Alec healed, I wanted to check out the slave trader shop to see if they had any slaves that we could get to join us. This must be the worst people to get into the slave trade business, because they didn't have any slaves in their shop, not a single one. So we had to leave town in search of somewhere else I could attempt to get a new recruit. After it turned to night, I sent Tuck in to the stone camp to attempt and break out some of the slaves. He was able to unlock the cages and shackles without getting noticed by the guards. While I was sending him to another building to try and free more of the slaves, I noticed one of the slaves was following Tuck, so I decided it was time to leave and focus on trying to keep that slave safe. The slave was able to make it outside of the walls, but still had guards chasing him, and it didn't look like he was going to be able to outrun him. So I sent Alec back to attempt to take the guard's aggro off of the slave, as Alec was able to outrun the guards. That ended up working, and the slave was able to get away from the guards with Tuck. And once the two of them had made it to safety, the slave decided he wanted to join the team. Shortly after the first slave, now known as the Wall, that's just a great name, joined the team, another slave wanted to join as well. And with that slave break done, I feel like that's a good stopping point for this episode of Slaves Only. Let me know if you enjoyed the episode. Let me know if you didn't enjoy the episode. Hope to see you next time.